You go to bed exhausted. You finally fall asleep. Then at 1 a.m., your bladder wakes you up. You stumble to the bathroom, come back, stare at the ceiling, and hope the next few hours go differently. They usually don't. This is nocturia, nighttime urination, and it affects more than 70% of adults over 60. Most people accept it as a permanent part of aging. Their doctor shrugs, they buy a nightlight and move on. But here's what that doctor probably never mentioned. For millions of seniors, this has nothing to do with the bladder. It starts in the bloodstream. When blood sugar drops too low during sleep, the body releases stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, to correct it. One immediate side effect of that hormonal response is that the kidneys produce more urine. You wake up not because your bladder was full, but because your blood sugar crashed. That changes everything, because blood sugar responds directly to food, and there are 8 specific foods that stabilize glucose overnight, calm inflammation in the urinary tract, and give your body the conditions it needs to actually stay asleep. Let's go through them. 1. Chia seeds, the overnight blood sugar stabilizer. Chia seeds form a thick gel inside the gut when they digest. That gel slows the absorption of carbohydrates, flattening the glucose curve, so there's no sharp spike after dinner and no dangerous crash at midnight. But there's a second layer most people don't know about. Chia seeds absorb up to 12 times their own weight in water, making them a slow-release hydration source. Your body stays fluid balanced through the night without that excess water signaling the kidneys to flush. A small chia pudding, unsweetened almond milk, cinnamon, a few berries, eaten 2 hours before bed is one of the simplest, most effective evening interventions for nocturia. Not a medication, not a supplement, just food timed right. 2. Barley, an ancient grain with a measurable effect. Barley contains a fiber called beta-glucan that has been studied more extensively than almost any other dietary fiber. Clinical research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that beta-glucan significantly reduces post-meal blood glucose and insulin response, exactly the mechanism needed to prevent overnight crashes. The practical application is straightforward. Mixing barley into your evening rice or eating a warm barley porridge with ginger before bed produces a much gentler glucose curve through the night. Fewer crashes mean fewer stress hormones, and fewer stress hormones mean the kidneys stay quiet. Barley also delivers magnesium, a mineral that over 50% of older adults are deficient in, which directly supports kidney function and reduces bladder inflammation. Warm, simple, effective. A warm mung bean porridge with ginger and sea salt is a legitimate evening medicine. 3. Edamame, backed by a study most people have never heard of. A 2020 study from Kyushu University in Japan followed 143 adults over 65 who added 1 serving of edamame or tofu to their evening meals. After 8 weeks, nearly 60% reported fewer nighttime bathroom trips. Many dropped from 2 or 3 wake-ups per night to just 1 or none. The mechanism is twofold. Edamame's plant protein and fiber stabilize blood sugar through the night, but the isoflavones in soy, plant compounds that interact with hormone receptors, have been specifically linked to improved bladder control and reduced urinary urgency in older adults. Steamed with sea salt, stirred into soup, or added to a light stir-fry, 1 serving, 8 weeks. The results in that study were difficult to argue with. 4. Mung beans, the kidney food traditional medicine got right first. Mung beans have been used in Asian traditional medicine for kidney and bladder support for over 2,000 years. Researchers in 2020, publishing in the Journal of Traditional and Complementary Medicine, finally explained why. Older adults who consumed mung bean soup regularly showed measurable improvements in overnight glucose regulation and a significant reduction in nighttime urination frequency. Mung beans are high in resistant starch, which feeds beneficial gut bacteria and dramatically slows glucose absorption. They're also loaded with potassium and magnesium, minerals that relax smooth muscle tissue throughout the urinary tract, reducing urgency at its source rather than just masking it. Warm, simple, effective. A mung bean porridge with ginger and sea salt is a legitimate evening medicine. 5. Adzuki beans, 10 weeks to a full night's sleep. Researchers at Kyoto Prefectural University tracked adults who added Adzuki bean-based meals to their diet. Over 10 weeks, participants experienced significantly fewer nighttime urination events and reported noticeably deeper sleep. The science behind it is consistent with everything we've covered. Adzuki beans are rich in soluble fiber and complex carbohydrates that release glucose slowly and steadily. No spike, no crash, no 2 a.m. cortisol alarm. They also contain potassium and magnesium, which calm the nervous system and reduce pressure on the kidneys simultaneously. A warm Adzuki bean porridge or Adzuki simmered with brown rice, mild flavor, 10-week track record, and a body of research that's only growing. Lotus Seeds, the compound that helps you stay asleep. Most people have never heard of Lotus Seeds. That's a gap worth closing. Lotus Seeds contain isoquinoline alkaloids, naturally occurring compounds with a mild sedative effect that have been studied for their role in sleep quality. But what makes them specifically relevant for nocturia is what comes next. They also contain magnesium and phosphorus, which regulate kidney function and reduce overnight fluid imbalances. A 2021 clinical study in the Journal of Traditional and Complementary Medicine found that lotus seed consumption significantly improved sleep latency and reduced nighttime urinary frequency in adults over 60. The strongest results appeared in participants with blood sugar irregularities, exactly the population most affected by nocturia. Simmered and paired with warm almond milk or barley tea before bed, lotus seeds address the problem from two directions at once, keeping you asleep and keeping the kidneys calm while you are. 7. Cooked turnips, the diuretic that works for you, not against you. Here's the counterintuitive one. Turnips are a mild natural diuretic, so why are they on a list of foods to reduce nighttime urination? Because timing is everything. Eating turnips at dinner encourages the body to process and release excess fluids during the evening while you're still awake and moving. By the time you're in bed, the fluid balance is already resolved. The kidneys have done their work. There's nothing left to signal a 2 a.m. wake-up call. Turnips are also high in potassium and vitamin C, both of which regulate blood pressure and reduce strain on the kidneys over time. Roasted or steamed with dinner, they're one of the cheapest, most overlooked tools in this entire list. Soaked walnuts, melatonin you can eat. Most people know melatonin as a supplement. Very few know that walnuts are one of the only plant foods that contain it naturally. A study in the journal Nutrition found that eating walnuts measurably increases blood melatonin levels, enough to affect the sleep-wake cycle. Walnuts also contain ALA, a plant-based omega-3 that reduces systemic inflammation, including in the bladder and urinary tract. The soaking matters. Raw walnuts contain compounds in the skin that block nutrient absorption. 4 to 6 hours in water breaks those down, making the melatonin, the ALA, and the magnesium all significantly more bioavailable. 4 or 5 soaked walnuts after dinner. Small habit, real compounding effect over time. Here's what connects all 8 of these foods. None of them target the bladder directly. They target the system that's sending the bladder false alarms in the first place: unstable blood sugar, elevated stress hormones, inflammation, and mineral deficiencies that accumulate quietly over years. Nocturia is often a symptom of an imbalance, not a disease in itself, and imbalances respond to consistency. Pick one food from this list, add it to your evening routine for 2 weeks. Track what happens. The body, when given the right conditions, is remarkably capable of restoring its own rhythm. That's not a hopeful statement, it's what the research keeps showing us.